Alright y'all, the GTO is not done in time to go to Willow Springs this weekend. It's a Thursday, and I am working on the 240 to get the 240 ready to go to Willow Springs this weekend. I got this nifty guy just installed today. It is a adjustable boost controller from Grimspeed right off Amazon. I'm going to link it in the description. And I have just raised the boost pressure from about 6 psi at wide open throttle to about 13 psi at wide open throttle. So this car is noticeably faster now. It can definitely rail second gear a lot easier. Anything over 4,000 RPM, there's a lot more power. I'm wondering why it's a little laggy under 4,000 RPM. I think it's just an SR20 thing. But what I will say is that I am always terrified of these SR20s shitting oil pumps and stretching rods and rod knocking. SR20s love to rod knock. So that scares me that I'm stressing this SR20 out even more, but it just wasn't even really like fast enough to, wasn't torquey enough or powerful enough or fast enough to do what I wanted to do without that extra 7 psi of boost. So it's kind of cooler now. I'm also thinking about turning the timing up a couple degrees with the timing light. Let's see what else. I got some new tires. I'm gonna go get a steering rack rebuilt today because I can't buy an S13 steering rack because I can't find one. It's gonna be about $300 to get this one's all of the seals replaced in it so that it stops leaking. That's my only issue is it's leaking out of like the steering shaft seal where the steering wheel goes to the rack, and that's not good for the pump. Leaving oil spots all over the street, not good for cleanliness, and if the reservoir drains too low and the pump runs dry, it'll burn the pump up. So trying to get that handled today right now. All right, new power steering rack's in. It drives great. I assume it doesn't leak, hopefully. Next on the list is energy suspension, rear subframe helper bushing. Here's what you get when you do this, is you get a bushing and a washer. It slides in and it eats up some of the slop in the factory bushings, which for sure is shot. It only helps with side to side and front to back. It does not do anything for up and down play, but it's better than nothing, give you more control. And we're also doing a strut tower brace in this car. The rear subframe bushing, you pull that nut out right there, and then you take your bushing helper that squeezes into some hollow pockets in that rear subframe bushing, and you just squeeze it right in that pocket like that. And she's in there now. I just got to repeat 4 times over. I mean 3 times. Everyone, go change your hood struts, your hat struts, all your struts. They're on Amazon. They're so cheap, it's absurd. The inconvenience of having bad ones sucks. Since I got the GTO, I had to use vice grips to hold the hood up. And finally, I'm gonna quit being a bum, get off my ass, and put them on right now. I hadn't yet because it uses torque screws and someone stole all my torque spits. Go, new hood struts, no more vice grips, ultra convenient. Yay. All right, what is up, YouTube? I just want to show you, I'm making some wide angle for the GTO. There's nothing available that I'm going to be able to get in time. Pandemic shortages and shipping delays and what have you. There's at some point I just got to man up and make my own. So I'm taking this control knuckle, took everything off of it so I can access it, ground it flat using a flap disc. Did some measuring, and I'm going to take this hole and push it in because I don't have some of the equipment where other people would just cut an incision right here, cut out an incision right here and cut like a ½ inch out and then re-weld it back together. I don't have the equipment necessary to do that, so we're going to re-drill this hole and buy a reamer and re-ream it from the bottom so that the steering shaft goes in there. Now, it's just a percentage. I'm not going to get crazy angle, and I didn't go further in like I wanted to because it already has had issues hitting the frame. So I'm going to beat everything in with the sledgehammer, put a wheel spacer on it, give it more angle, and see how she does. Alrighty guys, day 2 of doing my angle kit on the GTO. Just want to show you what happened. That's the stock hole, that's the new hole. The distance from ball joint, where it pivots, to where we're taking control of it is shorter, although the rack traverse hasn't changed, which means that we'll get more angle out of here. Better for drifting. So you drill it with the small drill, then the next size up, and then the next size up, and then a ½ inch. And then you get this 7-degree reamer, stick it in from the bottom, and you use that to make a conical shape. I even used a step drill to cut into there to kind of help pre-cut it so it's not stressing out the reamer too much. But now my holes are reamed and both of these ball joints are going to be securely fastened in there. Next up, on a GTO, the sway bar link goes from the coilover down to the sway bar. I'm on the other side and I'm going to show you why that's an issue. Is I grab... Oh, never mind, I'm on the steering rack. Well, anyway, if your ball joint isn't connected and you grab the wheel and push it left or right, it always kind of self-centers on its own because this link is fighting it. It's putting pressure on your ability to turn. So all this stuff needs to get cut up and modified so that instead of linking up to my coilover, I'm going to link down to my lower control arm, because it's way better for drifting and racing and everything. I don't know why GM did this. I mean, it works if you're not going to race or drift, but, you know. Anyway, gonna modify that sway bar so it doesn't interfere with my steering anymore. Got a big-ass power steering cooler in there, new power steering pump, more angle. So I'm very excited to test this out at Apple Valley Speedway.